Whenever the topic of difficult games comes up, Dark Souls is usually one of the first series mentioned. And that's for good reason. They're certainly difficult games. However, that difficulty has reached an almost myth-like status today, with only true gamers being able to beat Dark Souls properly. I don't necessarily agree with this take. I think that, while the games are definitely difficult, they're beatable by just about anybody with the proper tools. To prove my point, I decided to beat Dark Souls 3 as the most generic man I could think of. A man of the people, someone that everybody has met at some point in their lives. This is beating Dark Souls 3 as a suburban dad. My ultimate goal is to create the best barbecue the world has ever seen, but there are some rules. First of all, no rolling. I mean, look at this guy. There's no way in hell that body can perform a Dark Souls roll. 2. No leveling endurance, because he never works out, although he swears he'll get to it tomorrow. 3. Pyromancy or fire weapons only. This one should be self-explanatory. The man loves to grill. Finally, I only have a max of 6 of each type of Estus. This is to represent the 2 6-packs he drinks every night after work. With the rules out of the way, we decide to go with the quintessential suburban dad, and awaken in the Cemetery of Ash looking for a grill to cook on. I do want to establish early on that the reason I'm allowing fire weapons and not just pyromancy is that it would be incredibly boring viewing to watch me press R1 from across the arena. Plus, if I'm on the other side of the arena, it kind of nullifies the no rolling challenge. Naturally, we make it to Gundyr without any hassle, and I mean, he's the tutorial boss, so shouldn't be a problem at all. Uh-oh. This run might have been a mistake. After Gundyr, I head through Ferrying Shrine, hit the tree jump, and grab a few key items before I head to the High Wall of Lothric. Once there, I quickly run through, grab the Estus Shard and Cell Key, and then go talk to Emma. Unfortunately, I am very anxious around women, and I find that my words fail me, so I use fireballs instead. After I get over the fact that I fumbled another beautiful woman, it's time to fight Vort of the Boreal Valley.
Hey Lois, what's going on here?
Next up is the Undead Settlement, and like most playthroughs of Dark Souls 3, nothing interesting happens. I rescue Chronicles, get the Fire Clutch Ring, and get a Fire Gem from this demon. This, in turn, will let me infuse a longsword so I can use a melee weapon and stop throwing fireballs like a moron. As I edited this, I realized that I forgot to record myself beating the Curse-Rotted Greatwood, but let's be honest, is anyone really going to miss footage of me beating Curse-Rotted Greatwood? I make a quick stop to fumble another beautiful woman, and carry straight on to Crystal Sage. This is a boss I really have nothing to say for. I killed it first try and it just kinda took a while and was mildly annoying, so yeah. Our next stop is the Cathedral of the Deep, and I make sure to kill the dogs since I can't roll past them this time, and make it to Slave Knight Gale. But I'll deal with him later. For now, my main goal is to get through the cathedral as quickly as possible. With that out of the way, it's time to face the Deacons of the Deep. With the clergy eliminated, it's time to move on to my least favorite area of this game, Ferrying Keep. Unfortunately for me, the Exile Knights hit the nastiest combo I have ever seen in this game. With my ego thoroughly checked, I run through Ferrying Keep as fast as humanly possible. With all the fires extinguished, I can finally get out of that hellish swamp and face my first Lord of Cinder, the Homeowners Association. With the Homeowners Association down, I was able to grill without interruption. However, I needed stronger charcoal, and for that I would have to venture into the catacombs of Karthus. Then through the catacombs to Smoldering Lake. I pick up a couple of undead bone shards, but accidentally forget about the pyromancy tomes. More on that later. I make it to Volnir's chamber without too much trouble, and outside of one very embarrassing death to his vape cloud, he doesn't give me any trouble. With the charcoal acquired, it's time to find some meat to grill. Problem is, Pontiff Sullivan isn't hoarding it all to give to his good buddy Aldrich. Getting through Pontiff and Aldrich to get my meat is going to be no easy task. I'm going to need some serious firepower. Yeah, as it turns out, a fire Zweihander is not very good for this run. I switch back to my trusty longsword and get ready to take on Pontiff. With the Pontiff disposed of, I can now go after Aldrich and reclaim the beef that is rightfully mine. On my way up to Anorlando, I am hit by a Silver Knight arrow that somehow sends me the wrong direction and kills me. I am able to make it to Anorlando and then to Aldrich without further incident. This is where I would normally make a cool montage, but I killed Aldrich first try, so there's really not much to say. With the meat in hand, all I need to find now is lighter fluid and a place to have the barbecue. I figure finding a location is more important at the moment, so I decide to go scout out Lothric Castle. Unfortunately, the prince's personal bodyguard informs me that they are not open for visitors and kindly asks me to leave. I don't care how creepy she is, I need this barbecue to happen, so I decline. She does not appreciate my persistence, and the fight is on. Now, the dancer has a grab attack that does devastating damage. Fortunately, you can just roll. Oh. Right. Here's the montage you wanted. I decide it's high time to get the lighter fluid and move to Irithyll Dungeon. Absolutely nothing of interest happens, as is often the case with Irithyll Dungeon, and I make it to Yorm safe and sound. It goes about as well as I expected for this challenge run. And I must confess, I abandoned the run at this point. Yorm's lighter fluid made him too strong for me to beat fire with fire. I would have to use wind. With the lighter fluid in hand, all that was left was to ask permission to host the barbecue at Lothrop Castle. And outside of a quick ego check by the dragons, I make it to the personal butler of Prince Lothric without too much trouble. As it turns out, he hates barbecues. And I gotta tell you, this is where the run became soul-crushing. I've had enough at this point, so I decided to go take it up with the man himself.
That's what I keep on saying till I lose my mind. Feel like a bird in the sea breeze, shine like a moon in the last sky. Can you believe it till the end of your life? Oh, we some backs into a room. That's enough for satisfaction. Already know how to have fun. No need of explanation. Whoa, what's the worth of nothing? Whoa, what's the worth of nothing? Sure. We will never
Unfortunately, I trashed Lothar Castle, so it's no longer a viable barbecue spot. As it happens, the firekeeper knows a cool place and hooks me up. But when I get there, I find out that my rival, the grill master, has already set up shop. There can only be one. I can't beat the Grillmaster. There's no way. The run is dead. What would Peter Griffin do in this situation? I know what I must do. I need to get ripped. I feel unstoppable. I feel like I can roll. With the Grillmaster defeated, Peter Griffin is finally able to host his barbecue. Unfortunately, he killed everyone who would have attended, so he eats alone. Satisfied, Peter sits down to have a post-barbecue nap. And I have officially, kind of, beaten Dark Souls 3 as a suburban dad.